how it shows up is it's actual ontological, like there's a way of being. You have thoughts about it, you have body sensations about it, you have mental attitude about it, you have feelings about the situation, the person, and yourself. So you really want to get present to all of that without making it wrong.
Okay. It's difficult.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I say I don't think you're committed. I mean, it's you want to be authentic to yourself and give yourself the compassion and the permission to actually have the way you want that being be fully expressed. That's where the freedom comes.
The way I want that being fully expressed.
Yeah, the way you end up being is when you try to reach out to somebody that with an anonymity that you don't want to carry around and they don't respond, you get pissed off and you say the hell with you know, and call it I'm complete.
Which obviously doesn't
No.
sound like it's.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you want to give yourself the compassion to say, to be human about it. Like you got to embrace your humanity. Well,
No, I
yeah.
get what you're saying. I'm adding
Yeah.
humorous deflection.
yeah, exactly. The
Totally.
deflection is part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're trying to get out of the trap. That's
Mhm.
what's happening.
Oh,
Which
very
keeps
much
you
so.
deeper and deeper in the trap.
Yeah, just recognize it's a trap.
Yeah, just nowhere to get. And you had a reaction. And it doesn't really mean anything. It just is, and you had a commitment. And you can get present that commitment. Look, I'm committed to, I don't want to carry anonymity around. That's my commitment. And yeah, against that, yes, okay, there's a breakdown. And then bring yourself to nothing. Take the significance. There is no, do you know that there's no significance to what you just shared, other than what you put into it?
Oh yeah, it's completely created out of the language that I added to it.
Yeah, and yet you indulge in that.
Yeah.
And it takes away your, affects your health, it affects your well-being, and it occupies your thoughts, got probably an impact with that person over there.
All the situations.
Right? I mean, yeah. Look at how crazy it is. And there's nothing wrong. I mean, you want to get yourself that, welcome to the human race.
Yeah.
So what do you see now?
And what I see or what I accept.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. So, yeah, what's opening up for you? Yeah.
What I see as a possibility out of what we've just delved into is that it's okay for me to be pissed off. It's okay for me to not be happy with the results that the efforts gave. And it just is nothing I can say are going to change anything. And with that, I can either continue to carry this animosity, or I can decide that I was authentic, I did what I did, and let it go.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so much more healthier to be upset than harboring, right? It's toxic, it eats you up. I mean, and pretend that we're not upset. We're all smiling and fine, Yeah. It's okay to be angry. I mean, it's part of being human.
I guess so not this
Yeah.
situation, but my brain goes to, it's okay to be angry, it's only part of being human. However, the context of that limits what kind of interactions you can have if you're operating in the context of anger and frustration.
Yeah, see, you went somewhere
I
else.
did,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
My
you
brain's
just want to
always
be
going.
present. Like, look, when you have a commitment and you get impacted, when it doesn't go the way you expected, as a human being, you can have a reaction. That reaction, from time to time, could be anger. It's fine to be. You can own it. Look, I'm angry because I'm impacted. But if you can actually authentically express it, it lasts a whole lot less time. Because it's appropriate, it's right there, and it's a reaction that you have, and you can own it as that. Where, when we get tripped up is, we hide that anger, we harbor it, and we act civilized about it. And
Yeah, that
then,
makes sense.
2 weeks later, boom, so that's, we run a racket for a long time, and then we pop it from time to time as we see it fit. That's what's inauthentic about it. If you have an authentic reaction to something at the moment, there's nothing, to explain about it. So it's the harboring that's inauthentic. Because it's not happening, and yet in the present, it's impacting, and it's impacting you and the people around you. That's what's inauthentic about it. Because that's just the way you end up being. God and I do the same thing. We indulge in, being right, and just the way we end up being, and making other people want.
Yeah, I guess that makes a lot of sense, because there'll be times where I get frustrated because I'm hungry.
Yeah.
And I know it, and when I actually can verbalize, like, look,
Yeah.
I'm hungry, pissed off, I'm sorry, and then it's gone.
You're just
Yeah.
on the court dealing with what's happening.
Yeah, versus what I'm talking about right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Identify it.
Yeah, reserving the right to sort of harboring
Yeah.
the right. Good. So, do you see any new actions, or?
No, I mean, I can already feel my body sensations being a lot more relaxed as far as like I'm mentally choosing it. It just is.
It
And
just
I don't
is.
have to have that animosity
You
anymore.
don't.
Yeah. Because like as I was telling the story, that animosity felt this whole like tension. I felt like a little kid and everything again.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have to do that.
You don't have to do that. Great, well, good for
Thanks.
you, yeah.
I appreciate it.
Okay, all right, so, let's see. So a breakdown is never, this is what, a breakdown is never, ever, ever a function of what happened. So it's always a function of the significance that you added to it. Does that make sense, Melissa? So your experience that something is wrong here is an abrupt shift in context that comes from the significance that you added. And that context of something is wrong will always stop you in your tracks. Your actions are now consistent. Sorry, your actions are not consistent with the possibility or commitment that you created. So as a result, your actions may become, to not take it, say, the hell with it, whatever, right? I've done enough not to take any actions at all. So this work is to empower you to know that now you have a choice. Whenever you have a breakdown, it's, you have a choice. It's never a function of what happened. It's always a function of how, the context in which we hold the what happened. So now you have a choice. So, and once you notice this, you can stand in what you're committed to, stand in your possibility, and take actions that are consistent with that. So you now have the power to interrupt the set of actions given by the context. There's something wrong here. Get that, Bethany? You now have the power to interrupt the set of actions that are given by there's something wrong here. You have something to say? Yeah.
Well, I have a question for
Yes.
time. Because we're talking about scenarios where we are kind of involved in a relational
If
conflict.
you could stand up so.
We're talking about these times where we're involved in relational context, that there's, where we would like to see a shift, a resolution, or a completion, or whatever. What if you're on the receiving end of somebody who's got their context so stuck that they just keep coming, And you're just sort of been in this place.
Perfect.
You've just been
Perfect.
like, hey,
Perfect.
I've got nothing here.
Perfect.
And I'm in one of these situations with my ex-wife, and I'm just like, I don't know what I can do. I have no desire to resist, but I just can't, but there's requests that I just can't do, so I'm, I can give an example if you'd like, and it's just,
Stand up.
So when we were going through the divorce, one of the,
So what had you catch this? Because it's a context that it was catchable. You didn't plan, your body didn't say, okay, he's gonna throw this or that, right? It was catchable. So when somebody throws something,
but in the
throws
case,
stuff at you.
throw that to me again. Throw that to me again, please.
Well, you,
Because if you were my ex-wife,
well, no, but you're, but I'm not.
Hey,
But,
that's
throw it
my
to the next
water
one.
bottle.
Right,
I'm
for a
going
moment.
with it
but
today.
yeah, you could,
that's what I do.
Exactly, but
But
who's?
it just comes around.
But either, both ways, so whether you catch it or do this, stand up.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the context.
Right.
That, what have you go like this is the context that you've created that is coming from your ex-wife. You get that? Either way, the context is decisive. How you see, her communication occurs for you is what have you
Well, I see
be
nothing
impacted
until
by
I
it.
hear the request, and when the request is, let me give you the example. When we were going through the divorce, we had 2 cats. And it was sort of a tentative understanding that I would take one of those cats, not knowing even where I would live yet. Well, the housing situation in Leavenworth is, you're lucky to even get a place, much less get one that will accept a pet. So I am in a place where a pet's not even an option. And all I'm getting constantly is, you need to take this pet, you need to take this pet. And
Yeah.
I've just been like, you know
So
my
what's
situation.
the context? The context that you, what's the context for you about that request that says you need to take this?
I'm just
Okay.
repeating what she's saying.
Yeah, but what's your context when she says that?
I say, I would love to take that pet.
That's
but-
what you say.
That's exactly what I said.
Right,
I
but
care
what's
very
the
much,
context that's saying those behind?
But I'm not in a situation that allows it.
Yeah, that's a very nice,
not a
polite
choice.
way, but what's your context?
What do you mean,
About
what's-
how the request is coming to you?
She
Aren't
wants-
she's in the
she-
context,
She
is
would like
something,
me to take this pet.
I got that, but is in your context, this shouldn't be, there's something wrong here? Like, I have nowhere to take this pet? Why is she being unreasonable?
Well, I'm after, 6 or 7 times, I'm a little confused by why she continues to ask. Because it would occur to me that she's understanding of my living situation.
You're not confused, Eric. Take the case, you're not confused. So she's asking you the same
I'm
questions.
confused. Why, she's an intelligent person. Why would she continue to ask me to take a pet when we've already discussed the circumstances don't allow me to have a pet where I live?
What's confusing about take the pet? Really?
Why would I ask you to do, it's like me asking you to come do something when you've already made it very clear to me that you are committed to something else. Yes, I might ask again.
I got it, but that's not confusing. It's like you're saying like 1 and 1 is 2 is confusing. There's nothing confusing about it. You get that? There's nothing confusing about somebody asking you take the pet.
The 6
It may
or
mean
7th
something else.
time, circumstances are the same. Why would they continue to ask?
That's a different question, but it's certainly not confusing is what I'm saying.
It confuses me.
No.
I'm like, why does this person keep asking me?
This is what we can do. This
And
will
why
make
are
a
they so
difference.
angry at me for
Come on.
not taking it?
It's not, she's asking the same question, so there's nothing confusing about her question.
Okay.
Okay, so just take, so there's a particular occurring for you that how, about why she's asking what she's asking, right? So what I'm saying is, I mean, would you agree it occurs for you a particular way? Everybody has,
It occurs confusing. I don't understand. It's like if you told me today is Monday, when I woke up, and an hour later I asked you what day it is, and I ask you every hour what day it is, you'd be like, why do you keep asking that question? you understand, you know how to read the clock, it's still Monday.
So if you know I know how to read the clock, and I don't know, if you said that to me, and somebody who knew how to read the clock was asking me, saying, I don't know what time it is,
What
I'll
day
say
is
this
it?
guy, yeah, or what day it is, I'll say this guy's, or this person is stupid, or something, you know, I'd have some additional, not very nice words that I would be using. I wouldn't say they're confused, if I know they know how to read the clock. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
confused is a nice word, is what I'm saying.
I'm
It
not-
doesn't
I'm
quite
not-
describe your experience about how the request is happening for you. It's not like she's not aware that Leavenworth doesn't allow, whatever, right?
Right.
Is what I'm getting from your explanation. So I'm assuming she is perfectly aware of your situation, that the current situation that you're in doesn't allow you
Right.
to, you know, fulfill on the agreement that you guys had. I don't think there's a lack of a work, but she continues to make the request. So just take the case that you're not confused, but you have some other opinion about it. And then we're just practicing distinguishing, being authentic about what's there.
Right.
So how is it occurring for you?
Well, it's again, I'm like, I don't, because what happens is when I say no, she gets angry.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
so, I'm back in this place of, what do you do? What answer can I provide that doesn't create anger towards me?
That's right. Yeah.
I mean,
And why is that important to you, to have a communication with someone that doesn't end up in the other person being angry at you? Why is that important to you?
I would like to be able to have a relationship with everybody.
Sure.
And in this case, I don't know what I can do, because this is definitely, not supporting relationship, because she's angry at me, because I haven't, apparently, I haven't upheld my end of the bargain, the agreement. I mean, I don't.
I don't know about that, yeah. So
But she's angry, so
Right.
with anger,
So why is it important to you that she's not angry, or she doesn't get
well,
angry?
because, one reason would be that I wouldn't be faced with this question continually.
Sure,
And then, of course, with this question unresolved,
yeah.
then any other kind of communication, it infiltrates that.
Yeah, it affects the rest of the
And,
communication.
uh,
So it gets in the way in your ability to work out whatever is left.
right,
Yeah.
so, yeah, I'm just like, I don't know what to do with this, because
Okay.
if somebody is, again, it occurs that their context is so, it's just stuck. And regardless of
We don't know
what-
that.
Yeah, I don't, but regardless of what I tried to offer, and I've tried to offer many different variations of
Yeah.
it's
So
just
you
angry.
wanna take the case that you will never know what her context is. You wanna take the case different than yours, and you're being impacted by it. And not only you're being impacted about the pet and the living situation, but it impacts all the other aspects of your communication,
Right.
right? So that's your context. The context that you have is this request that keeps coming back is impacting the ability to, communicate in a reasonable way with this human being. But that's your context, that's what
Right.
so it's not a function of how, so what we're saying is, and that's a breakdown, again, is your commitment to having a reasonable communication with another person. So what we're saying is create that breakdown as a function of how what's happening, how the request for gotta take this pet is happening. It's that you have a context of what's happening is happening for you, which is, it's happening inside a context of this is not how reasonable people talk to each other, and this is affecting our ability to resolve other issues. You get that?
I get
That's
that,
your
but-
yeah.
And I would love to shift my context.
Well, the first thing to do is to distinguish it as a context. I think you're just
Sure.
beginning to get present to it, because I'm confused is a sure way of deflecting things. You're not confused, she's not confused about
Okay.
this bed, right?
Right.
So
Well,
you wanna,
Yeah.
yeah, right,
Yeah.
so you wanna you wanna get present, just like Blake did. This will take some time for you to actually get present to you being impacted by this request, aren't you? I mean, you've got thoughts, you've got concerns, you've got, why is this person keep, given the situation they keep doing, I mean, it has an
Right.
impact, right?
Sure.
You've got thoughts about it, you've got feelings about it, you've got a, mental state and attitude about it. So you wanna do the work to get present to all of that first and distinguish it as that. And
Right.
then, once you've done that, then you look at, this is only a breakdown. Again, it's my commitment of, I wanna have a reasonable, however you say it, right? However you said it, and how you think this situation should be handled. The possibility of two adults resolving a situation in a, adult way, whatever, however you say it, right? It's only a breakdown against that. And then so you can shift the context and create something.
But whatever I create would appear that there would have to have dialogue between us for that shift to happen.
Well,
Yes.
not necessarily, for the dialogue, I'll tell you one, a simple thing for the dialogue to start to happen, is you gotta stop making her wrong. Not because I don't really know or care whether she's wrong or not, I'm standing for you, right? What would empower you is you've gotta start creating the listening of other people, not from what you think they are, but you gotta create them as a possibility. If you can stand there, you've got much, much better chance to resolve any communication. Not for any evidence or anything.
I totally hear you. I've actually written letters to her, sort of acknowledging so much of our relationship that I recognize that I was not, didn't do my part and so forth and so
Great.
on.
Awesome.
And so I feel like in this, like I say, in this way, I've opened the door so many
Great.
times to just say, I don't wanna have a conversation like this. What will it take?
Yeah.
It's just, you take the cat. That's the only answer. You take the cat. I'm like, okay.
So, yeah, so first of all, I acknowledge you for doing that.
So that's what I say, I'm stuck if the person that's the only thing they'll accept is you take the cat, and that's actually not a choice that's available to me. What do I do?
I mean, come on, what is so complicated about not taking, you could say yes or no, I mean.
I say
what-
no.
Then what's
Then I receive anger.
No, you don't receive anger, show me anger, no, what do you, no you don't, what do you receive? You get a request,
Yeah, well, it'd be great if,
Nothing,
it would be fine if I gave him if I said.
no, she's not giving you anger, you're adding the significance anger to it. She's saying what she's
Are
saying.
you answering my phone and hearing it?
No, she's saying what she's saying. She's saying what she's
Okay.
saying, and she's saying it in a particular.
Someone's yelling and screaming, it's
Yes.
not angry.
No,
Okay.
she may, no, she may be angry. You may interpret, I'm not saying
Right.
that. But you have a say on your listening. Somebody can, people have been angry at you and you haven't been impacted by it. You get that? You're not committed, when you're not committed to being impacted by somebody's reaction, you're not. So you are allowing yourself to be impacted.
True.
So,
Right.
and the more you do that, the more she's gonna continue to do that.
I suspect that is true. I mean.
I would. If it's working, why not?
Well,
Where's
again,
the cat?
Again, I have a hard time relating to somebody's, again, that again is confusing to why someone would want to engage in that behavior intentionally, but.
I don't know,
But that does, I guess, as you say that, it feels like, gosh, it feels like he just wants to attempt to punish me in some way or somehow. putting meaning to it, but,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know why someone would continue to, you know, because again, I see that they're also engaging themselves in this negative cycle, so.
Have you tried what Michael was taking on? You can bring some humor to it. You can ask her the same, the things we do with, you can ask her the same question, where's the cat? Seriously, I mean, we add so much significance.
Yeah, good.
You could, but you gotta allow yourself, not as a strategy to get back at someone.
No, I don't wanna get back, I
Right,
just want peace.
but you could say, look, I'm at peace with this. I'm not in a position now that I can take the cat. So keep asking. You could say that.
I mean,
And
it's really, I guess you've kind of facilitated my question in the sense that there really is, other than just the way that I listen, that is the solution. You know, there isn't some different strategy for me to
Yeah.
somehow get her to
Yeah,
not
so-
keep. She's gonna do what she's gonna do.
Yeah,
And,
and there's a particular context that allows that to persist.
right,
And
and,
you could shift your context. And just be with it. There's nothing to do with it.
well, that's kind of been what I've attempted to do, but it hasn't
Well,
quite, it hasn't settled
You've
totally.
been trying to put up with it. That's what you've been doing.
Well, in the sense of like, that's just where they are,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah,
what they
exactly.
do.
That is not nothing, that's
Right.
something.
I know, but again, I guess it's trying to listen in a passive way that's just like,
Nothing wrong with that.
I can't control this, so, you know. But,
So do you see something now?
well, I guess what I see the most of would just be the way I listen to it. That will change the way that I perceive it and an impact, and whether it has impact on, or what type of, or an impact on you, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as trying to, whether I humor or whatever, well,
No,
I don't know.
I understand, I mean,
that's,
yeah,
but I think there's one thing I have complete control over, it's just the way I listen to it.
and it doesn't mean you won't be impacted by it. And when you do, you wanna just own it as, oh, yeah, I'm being impacted by it.
Right. Yeah, I guess, yeah, like, is there a way that I can stop the cycle? When it's sort of.
Well,
when some-
the way to stop the cycle is to start by being present to what's there. So you're trying to get out of,
Right,
you know, how do I
so
change, yeah,
if I get one of these calls that's demanding and
yeah.
projecting and so forth,
By the way, calls are not demanding or projecting.
well, what,
Okay, I got it.
those are the words, it sounds like the words, like you need to do this, or.
Yeah, you
don't
may
do
get
this.
you may get some her
That
to
sounds
say you need to do
demanding or
this.
whatever, but if you get those type of.
You're at this,
Okay,
okay.
if you get tone and
Yeah.
so forth, is it just a simple, direct, my situation is still the same? No?
Assuming it is the same, yeah, sure.
And that's it, that's all I say, and I just, and, I mean, that would seem to be the, if I don't, you know, I do my best to not react, but occasionally, and eventually, I react. And so if it is the idea that that's what she wants, then if she gets nothing out of me other than just situations are the same, sorry. no.
Yeah, and you
Then
never
maybe-
know what she
maybe-
wants, but
maybe
that's what
that-
she, yeah.
Maybe that leaves her in a place where she's like, I don't know, maybe, again. Yeah,
Yeah, you never know, but
Don't know.
Eric, I mean, this is, so this conversation is for you to be cognizant of the box that gives you your being, that's all. And you've got the ability, if you could be responsible to the context that gives you your being, and that being only allows certain things to be possible or not possible, you've got the ability to be with any communication. And you could, some of it is gonna impact you a particular way, and you can start there and be present to, oh, wow, I'm being impacted this way. Then that would always give you the space to actually take appropriate responses or actions. That's what I'm saying. Including the opportunity to be generous instead of a reaction machine.
Well, could you give me an example of generous?
Well, if I have nothing, if I bring nothing, instead of anticipating, I'm about to be asked the same question about that damn cat, I'm waiting for it to happen, instead of that, if I can actually be present to all the things that you say you acknowledged her for, you could actually hear the communication as another human being making a request. And maybe she's got stuff that the cat is a problem for her. Maybe I would be interested in, wow, how is that impacting you now?
Ask those questions.
Okay, well, I don't want to get
Yeah, I
into
got you.
deep, but you get that, right?
Yeah, I
But
get
you
it.
can bring nothing at any moment.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Eric.
Yeah.
Okay, so you now have the power to interrupt a set of actions given by the context. There's something wrong here. Yeah, I really acknowledge you for, your willingness to stand for what's possible. So I'm really clear that,
Yeah, no, thank you.
you won the communication.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I get that. Yeah, so thank you for willing to do that. Okay, so we're gonna get into groups real quick, and then so please, if you're not, please get into your groups. If your group is not here, just join another group, and then we'll get a little work in the group around breakdown. So. Just get into your groups, then I'm gonna give you, get into your groups, and then I'm gonna give you this. So, you guys can sit down, are you guys in the same group? Yes. Okay, so, you're gonna get to talk after, I'm gonna give you set up, the setup, okay? Okay, so we're gonna do a little work as a group, and then we're gonna come back and create session number 10. So first, let me just really quickly go over the session's assignment. And then the first assignment is in any area of life where you experience being at the effect of life, or experience having no opportunity for effective action, generate the context that you are the cause of the matter, you are causing the matter of your life. So anywhere you're at the effect, and you don't experience any opportunity for effective action, you want to generate the context that you are causing the matter of life. So that's the first assignment. The second assignment is practice declaring breakdown as an access to bringing your commitments to your life. So the work that we did is to demonstrate practicing declaring breakdown to bring your commitment to your life. And then as a bonus opportunity, be a stand for the people in your life, living a life of transformation, and have them be here at your next session, including the people in your group that are not here. So at our number 10, if you bring anyone as a guest, they're not gonna go within the first 5 minutes, they're gonna be with us for not the whole time, but for a longer period of time. And part of your assignment is to come ready to share some of the breakthroughs you've had out of your participation in the seminar. So you're sharing, authentic sharing will actually make a difference for the people who are here to find out about the forum. Okay.
This is assignment for our last.
You have it on
session.
I'm sorry?
This is the assignment for next.
For next week, for next session.
Right.
Yeah, so you have it on the way out, sorry. And then what you're gonna do in your group, I'm gonna give you about 5 to 7 minutes we're gonna do some work on breakdowns. Okay, this is enough here. So each person, you're gonna have each person share an area of your life where you experience being disempowered or thwarted. So you're gonna share with your partner, with the group, an area of your life where you experience being disempowered or thwarted. Just say brief, not a long story, just say briefly what happened, just the facts, and then state what matters to you, like why is that important to you. And then you declare a breakdown against that commitment or possibility. And then you want to ask the question, what's missing? What actions could you take that's consistent with your original commitment or possibility? And what actions will you take? And then just take turns sharing and working together on breakdowns and creating new actions. So we're going to do this with velocity. I'm going to give you 5 to 7 minutes. And go.
Why is it important to you before you go to the steps? Why is this important to you?
Because it is one of those things, frustration. I don't care for that, I don't. Most other areas, we do all the vegetables, but this is one area where we have conflict. Baseball season, oh, we got a game on Friday night. You know, it's a friendship. Something that falls, I don't like involved in so much. Yeah, GD, yeah. What are you writing?
I didn't know if you picked that up or not. That's the significance of it.
It's a word. But in my office, so to resolve it, I'm working on exactly. This is the way it's going to be. For the foreseeable future. If you're a baseball fan, I'm not going to be a fan. And the best way for us to deal with that conflict is
tough session.
He's talking about take action and really not sure what the questions be and the outcome. It's a reflection of reflecting back and sharing yourself.
Well, that's what making it mean.
So
But
that-
doesn't that make I keep it necessary?
I know that, but it's important though that you do have a sense that you're valued. Because if you have that sense that you are valued, then that gives you like the foundation, sort of that space that you can confidently, and at the same time, regardless of what they hear, okay, because your worth is not dependent on some external thing like what they compensation or what they're offering, what they are. So I feel like that in your view of your worth.
Hey, so what else?
One more time, or you guys, everybody got a chance to go?
Boils all.
Yeah. Yeah.
30 more seconds.
How much feedback, I mean, I struggle with this too, because I've been watching this where that hard feelings are actually practices, we talk about, you know, there's no mountain challenges, I think for many of us, that is a practice that's ongoing our whole life. Because when we have a really strong sense of our worth, it's also based on boundaries. Without that, our boundaries become important, we have boundaries, right? Kind of,
So you,
does it kind of go well, we find ourselves in situations that we're not happy with. We allow, again, we weren't free to choose it.
the one who set the family. Actually, yeah, that's.
But it's a disempowered side, right? Not that that's.
It is something that I can't say that I have my choice in.
It's like you, right?
Absolutely. We want to find that works for you. You're making a
Yeah. It's great.
sounds like it's kind of been going on.
Well, gosh, that was,
It's both. Coming around monetary compensation. And it's hard to choose a friend group.
Be tough, yeah.
That I'm in that situation, I'm having to keep about that.
Okay, we get to wrap it up.
Oh, really? Oh, it's kind of scary.
well,
And I have, well, I have, but I haven't,
All right, begin to wrap it up.
Oh, wow.
Stay in your group and acknowledge your partner. So now we're going to take a few minutes to talk about our last session. So as you know, next session is session number 10. And it's an event not to be missed. I know, I'll be involved with Cabo, yeah, but it's an event not to be missed. So the intention of the series is to leave you able to deal powerfully with each and every aspect of your life. So standing in that intention, we want to look at why we've had the conversation about sharing the landmark forum, okay? And inviting people to come as guests. And so, you know, we say it's a special evening. The last session is a special evening. So why, you know, why do you think it would make a difference to have people who haven't had access to this work to come and find out about it? You know, whether you decide to invite or not, why, personally, why do you think having people come and find out about this work would make, why do you think would make a difference? Yeah.
Well, I can see that they would, they may be able to see from other people's experiences
Mm.
and what other people have gained out of this, something
Sure.
more for themselves.
Okay.
Other than what you might have shared for your own experience. Get that.
Yeah, yeah, they get to hear from other people's experience, yeah. Anyone else? What do you think? Yeah,
I thought the same thing.
okay. Anyone else?
I about the same thing too.
You guys must be tired, now you're trying to.
No, I'm not getting really tired, but I mean,
Yeah.
that was exactly what I was thinking.
Okay,
It's the
okay.
opportunity for other people to see something more
Yeah,
themselves.
okay, yeah.
Exactly.
Form
I
and
want a way to
actions.
improve your
Right,
life.
okay, yeah, so that's actually accurate, and one, actually, while it's accurate, one of the main reason is the intention is to actually leave you able to deal powerfully with each and every aspect of your life. See, one of the things we miss is, the opportunity to stand for someone and make a difference. Somebody stood for you and I, for us to be here. And, the opportunity to invite someone and alter, or provide them the opportunity for them to find out about this work is actually designed for an ordinary human being like you and I to actually be a hero for someone. The person who invited you to do this work is someone you'll never forget. And that's an opportunity for you to actually be that person for another human being. Whether they're gonna get what they're gonna get whatever they're gonna get. They're gonna register, they may not be registered. But one of the things you don't wanna miss is you and I have the opportunity to actually sure way of sharing ourselves and being a hero for another human being. So that is opportunity. So now I want to be clear, you don't have to, I'm not trying to convince you, or you don't have to agree. You could participate in this work completely in all 10 sessions and never take on sharing or inviting. So it's not a requirement. And sharing the forum will always be part of this work because, like I said, it's an opportunity for ordinary people like you and I to be a hero for another human being. So, I'm inviting you to think of the people that you planned of, you were intending, you've either already invited or you were planning to invite, and either they come or didn't, they came or didn't come, and even people in your, I don't know, in your workplace, in your place of worship, in your neighborhood, whatever, your school, think of people in your life that could actually come and find out, and like you said, we don't have to give them advice, they can actually discover what's possible for them as human beings. So that's the invitation. So, for our last session, I'm really committed that we go out with a bang, like knowing ourselves for making a difference. I know, Jerry, when you brought your wife, it was a victory for me, for you, and for everybody. So I'm really committed that we make that kind of difference for the people in our lives. So between now and next session, which is next week, you get to practice being unreasonable. So this will take being unreasonable, not being stopped by no, and diminishing the significance of your internal dialogue, and making a difference. So that's really, I want to create that. It's a wonderful opportunity to use the distinction that we've covered in the series to be successful in making a difference for another human being. Okay. Anybody declining this request? Okay. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. And so it is an opportunity to make a difference, to take on make a difference. And I really appreciate you being straight about it. Yeah. All right. So, and then the other thing I want to create is, next session, you will have not only the opportunity to complete the Landmark Forum in Action seminar, but also create a powerful context for what life is beyond after the seminar for you. So be between now and our next session, what some of you may find comes up is a resistance to completion. And so how many people have a tendency to not fully complete what you began? Raise your hand. Come on, be proud. Yeah, that's right. So for those of you, especially, honor your word and be here at session 10. You'll have a breakthrough in having things complete. So this doesn't become one more thing in your life that you have left incomplete. So, and it's just gonna be an amazing opportunity. We're gonna actually create a distinction of being complete, which is very different than ending something. You can end something and not ever be complete. And you can complete something, but not necessarily end it. So it's a really powerful distinction. Yes?
Question, now there's like another seminar going on.
Yeah.
If we bring guests, do they all go into one introduction together, or is it a separate one for just our guests?
For our guests, it's gonna be
Okay.
separate, yeah. Okay, and so you will have a breakthrough in having things complete. So really, I'm just inviting you to take that on. So, so anything, I'm gonna, and then the other thing is, it's an opportunity for people who in your group have been with you at session 10, but all the people, anybody that has missed any of the sessions is actually welcome to come back and celebrate the completion. The last session is open to anybody. So invite, extend an invitation to